Hey Bears fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Chicago Bears. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. There's a storm brewing in Detroit, and it's not the kind that clears by morning. It's the kind that lingers, leaving fans and analysts buzzing with speculation, whispers, and those late-night group chat debates that spiral out of control. The source of all the noise? A few sharp words from Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, caught by a microphone when he thought no one was listening, or maybe he wanted to be heard. He doesn't play for me anymore. Those words, directed at running back DeAndre Swift, have turned an ordinary mid-season press cycle into a full-blown drama. It's the kind of headline that sets the internet on fire because it's not just about football anymore. It's about pride, frustration, and the silent wars that happen behind locker room doors. Johnson isn't known for being reckless with his words, but this time, it feels personal. You can almost feel the tension, the weight of something that's been building for weeks, maybe months, bubbling under the surface of every sideline stare and awkward press conference answer. The Lions have been walking that fine line between brilliance and collapse all season. On paper, everything should be smooth. A young quarterback finding his rhythm, a defense that's playing with swagger, and an offensive line that could make any running back's life easier. But that's just the problem. Any running back apparently doesn't include DeAndre Swift anymore. Rumors inside the locker room say that Swift's attitude in practice hasn't matched his potential. Sources whisper about disagreements over play calling, missed assignments, and what Johnson allegedly calls a lack of accountability. It's a dangerous phrase, one that coaches use when they're done protecting a player's reputation. And now, after those 5 words escaped Ben Johnson's mouth, everyone is wondering, is this the beginning of the end for Swift in Detroit, or is it a classic case of emotions spilling over after a tough game? Swift's tenure with the Lions has always been a mix of promise and frustration. When he's on, he's electric, a blur in motion, cutting through defenders with vision and speed that few can match. But his critics argue that he's never been consistent enough to be the guy. The injuries, the rotations, the uncertainty over his role, it's been a pattern since day one. And for a team like Detroit, which prides itself on grit and discipline, maybe that unpredictability was too much. The quote from Johnson didn't come out of nowhere. Insiders claim that Swift missed a crucial blocking assignment last Sunday, one that nearly got Jared Goff flattened. Coaches hate that kind of mistake. It's not just about the missed block, it's about trust. And in the NFL, once a coach feels he can't trust you, it's a steep, slippery fall back to the sidelines. Fans have already started taking sides, as they always do. Half of them blame Johnson for being too rigid, arguing that creativity means letting players like Swift express themselves. The other half insist that discipline is what separates contenders from pretenders. On social media, clips of Swift's highlights are being reposted with captions like "Free DeAndre" and "He deserves better," while others post memes of Johnson as a drill sergeant yelling, "No more chances." It's chaotic, it's messy, and it's exactly the kind of story that defines modern football culture. We live in an age where every sideline glare is dissected, every quote is slowed down and replayed, and every bit of tension becomes a headline. The Lions' locker room, once quiet and confident, now feels like a powder keg. Behind the scenes, though, things are reportedly even worse. Sources close to the team claim that Johnson and Swift haven't spoken directly since the outburst. Team meetings have become awkward, with players whispering as soon as the two are in the same room. Leadership veterans have tried to step in, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, even Dan Campbell. But you can only mediate so much when respect has eroded. And that's what it feels like, a total breakdown in respect. Johnson, the brilliant play caller who turned this offense into a force, sees Swift as unreliable. Swift, the ultra-talented back who believes he's being underutilized, sees Johnson as controlling. Two strong personalities clashing in a pressure cooker of expectations, each convinced they're right. It's a classic football standoff, and right now no one's backing down. If this really is the end for DeAndre Swift in Detroit, it'll be remembered as one of those what-if stories, What if he had stayed healthy? What if communication had been better? What if pride hadn't gotten in the way? But maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end. Maybe it's a wake-up call, a moment that forces both sides to face the truth about what they want. Swift has the talent to bounce back anywhere, and Johnson has the system to win without him. But there's always that lingering thought, the one that keeps fans awake after midnight. What if Detroit just lost one of its brightest sparks because of 5 angry words said in frustration? Whatever happens next, one thing's certain: the whole league is watching. By the time the next game rolls around, the Lions sideline will tell the real story. Cameras will be locked on Johnson's face, searching for any hint of emotion, and they'll track Swift's every move, every reaction, every second he's not on the field. That's the cruel beauty of professional sports. The spectacle of human emotion under impossible pressure. You can't hide in the NFL. Every gesture becomes part of the narrative. And when Johnson said, "He doesn't play for me anymore," he may not have realized he wasn't just making a statement about one player. He was defining the tone of his entire team. The locker room chemistry, the unity, the message about accountability, it's all on trial now. Either the Lions use this controversy as fuel, or it becomes the spark that burns them from the inside. Let's not forget, Johnson isn't some rookie coach trying to prove himself. He's one of the brightest minds in football, the man everyone assumed would be the next big head coach. When someone with that kind of reputation speaks sharply, it hits different. It's deliberate. So maybe, just maybe, this wasn't a slip of the tongue. Maybe it was a message to Swift, to the locker room, and to the league. A message that says, if you don't buy in, you're out. Coaches love to talk about culture, but this is how culture is enforced, through moments of confrontation. The Lions have built their identity on toughness and unity, but this rift exposes the cracks. Swift, for all his explosiveness, represents something unpredictable, and unpredictability terrifies control-minded coaches. The real question is whether the team agrees with Johnson's hardline stance, or if they quietly think he went too far. Meanwhile, Swift's camp hasn't stayed quiet. Reports say his agent is already testing the waters, gauging interest from other teams. And who wouldn't be interested? Talent like his doesn't stay unsigned for long. The whispers say teams like the Dolphins and Ravens could make a move if things completely fall apart in Detroit. But here's the catch. Swift doesn't want to be seen as a problem player. He's aware that reputations stick in the NFL, especially when a coach publicly calls you out. So while fans tweet support and rival GMs watch closely, Swift has to balance ego and survival. Does he clap back and defend himself? Or does he take the high road, stay silent, and let his play do the talking? Either choice could define his career from this point forward. From a football perspective, this drama couldn't have come at a worse time. The Lions are on the edge of a playoff push, and distractions like this can derail everything. Every practice rep now feels like a statement. Every press conference answer is dissected for subtext, and you can bet opposing teams are loving it. Disunity in Detroit means vulnerability on the field. But here's the twist. Sometimes these internal conflicts create fire. Maybe Swift takes this as motivation, breaks out in practice, and forces Johnson to eat his words. Maybe Johnson doubles down and proves his offense doesn't need him at all. It's an emotional chess match, and right now, both sides are bluffing, waiting to see who blinks first. In the end, this might become one of those legendary locker room tales, the kind veterans tell years later, shaking their heads and laughing about that time Johnson lost it on Swift. But in the moment, it's raw, uncomfortable, and impossible to ignore. You can feel the energy around the team shift. Reporters sense it. The fans sense it. Even rival players are chiming in online, adding fuel to the fire. Football is drama, but this is theater. Pride, passion, betrayal, redemption, all rolled into one messy story that refuses to fade. Johnson might think he's making a statement about professionalism, but what he's really done is start a conversation about power and loyalty in modern sports. Maybe at the heart of it, both men are right. Johnson wants discipline and structure. Swift wants freedom and faith. That's the eternal clash between coaches and playmakers, order versus chaos. And when emotions run high, Sometimes words come out harsher than intended. But football isn't about perfection. It's about how you respond when everything goes wrong. Maybe this is the test both of them need. Maybe Detroit's true strength isn't avoiding conflict, but surviving it. Whatever happens, one thing's certain. When the Lions take the field next Sunday, every fan will be watching, not just for touchdowns or tackles, but for that silent moment when eyes meet on the sideline. And we all find out if forgiveness is still possible in the game that never stops demanding more. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. No matter how this saga ends, one thing is undeniable. The Detroit Lions have stepped in the spotlight in a way they probably didn't plan for. What started as a simple internal disagreement has turned into a headline that defines their season. Some say this is exactly what happens when passion boils over in a competitive environment. Others believe it exposes deeper cracks in the team's foundation. Ben Johnson's words, raw and unfiltered, have now become a symbol, a rallying cry for some, and a warning sign for others. Players who once quietly watched from the sidelines are reportedly choosing sides. The atmosphere in the locker room has changed, not in volume, but in tension. Every joke feels cautious, every comment measured, as if everyone is afraid of saying the wrong thing. But make no mistake, this is the crucible where teams either collapse or become legends. If Detroit comes out stronger, fans will call this the turning point. If not, it'll be the moment they began to unravel. And yet, deep down, there's something almost poetic about it. This is football in its purest form. Not the polished highlight reels or carefully worded press releases, but the raw, emotional struggle of men chasing perfection in an imperfect world. Swift's talent has never been questioned, but now his heart, his dedication, and his humility are under the microscope. Johnson, on the other hand, is being tested as a leader, not just in designing plays, but in managing personalities. How do you demand accountability without losing humanity? How do you build trust after breaking it in front of millions? These are questions that can't be answered in a post-game interview. They're answered on the field, in the way players block for each other, in the way a coach calls that first play involving the guy he once said would never play for him again. As the dust settles, maybe there's still a chance for redemption, not just for Swift, but for the entire Lions organization. Sports history is full of comebacks, reconciliations, and unexpected turnarounds. Imagine the storyline if Swift returns, plays the game of his life, and Johnson meets him halfway with a nod that says more than words ever could. That's the beauty of the game. It breaks hearts, tests loyalty, and then, sometimes, just sometimes, it heals everything with a single play. The world will keep watching, the rumors will keep swirling, and both men will keep walking that fine line between pride and forgiveness. But one thing's for sure, whether they rise or fall, the Detroit Lions have given us a story that reminds everyone why football isn't just a sport. It's a reflection of life itself. Messy, emotional, and unforgettable. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.